Ezekiel chapter 4. Yeah, Biata ben Adam, right? This is how he's always referred to. You ben Adam, kach lecha leveina, take a brick for yourself. V'nasna osel lefanecha, place it before you. V'chakosa aleha ir es Yerushalayim. I want you to engrave on that brick the likeness of Yerushalayim. So we're making a diagram over here. V'sata aleha matzur, and now you're going to lay siege to that the effigy of Yerushalayim. Ubanisa aleha dayek. I want you to build up against it. These are all different terms for siege materials. There's a ramp that they would make to break down the walls of the city. That's the dayek. V'shafachta aleha solula. Cast a mound against it. Nasata aleha machanot. V'sim aleha karim saviv. You got to pitch a camp over there. Bring up the battering rams. We're going to be attacking Yerushalayim in what are those little miniature cities called with the trains?
What?
Like the miniature trains that they make around whatever. The point is he's made like a whole miniature siege again. Yeah, something like that. It's a mini version of Yerushalayim, and Yerushalayim is being attacked. So we're acting out that siege in Yechezkel's living room. What's that? It's a big brick, right? Now you should take this iron plate and kir barzel and place it in front of an iron wall between you and between the city. And you're going to place your face against that iron interruption, and it's going to be part of the siege. And then this is going to be a sign for the entire Jewish people. So what is going on over here? First of all, we're going to get to some even more convoluted symbolism later on. We're going to assume that everything that Yechezkel does in this parak, he actually did. Rambam and Radak don't like some of the things that are going to go on in this parak, so they view the whole thing as not having actually happened. It's just a mashal. I think that when you take that approach, you deprive the whole experience from its meaning. The reason these things are significant is because Yechezkel actually does them. On this iron shield, so the Gemara says that from the day of the Churban, there's been like an iron wall between the Jewish people and Hashem, and it cites this pasuk from Yechezkel, which is really talking about before the Churban. It's describing the Churban that will eventually happen, but the Gemara is talking about post the Churban. Okay. V'yata shachav al sidcha hasmali. You should lie on your left-hand side, the samta es avon beis Yisrael alav, and bear the punishment of the Jewish people. Mispar yamim asher tishkav alav. I want you to lie on your side for tisa es avonam, as many days as you need to carry their sin. V'ani nasati lecha es shnei avonam lemispar yamim shalosh me'os v'tishim yom. He wants Yechezkel to lay on his side for 390 days, Nasata avon beis Yisrael, and that's how you're going to carry the sin of the Jewish people by laying on your side. So there's all kinds of explanations for this 390. None of them to me are very convincing, except for the following when we get to actually Pasuk Zion.
And here's the question.
Yeah.
If he's bearing the sin for the Jewish people, I mean, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
If he's bearing the sin for the Jewish people, shouldn't they be forgiven afterwards?
No. So it's not vicarious, forgiveness. It's more to experience what they're going to experience, and that's what this whole chapter is going to be about. You, Yechezkel, are going to, in miniature version, go through the Chorban Bais HaMikdash that the Jews are going to eventually have to actually go through. Vikilisas Ela, you're going to finish the 390-day experience, and then v'shachavta al tzidcha hayimani, then you're going to flip over to the right side, shenis v'nasatas avon beis Yehuda, and now instead of carrying the sin for Beis Yisrael, you're carrying the sin for Beis Yehuda, arba'im yom, for 40 days. Yom lashana, what does that remind you of?
A day in the desert, yeah.
A day for a year.
Got decreed that they would have to wander for 40 years.
Exactly, right? Nesativlach, that's what I'm placing upon you. So you're taking on sort of the inverse. There, it was a year for every day. Here, it's a day for every year.
Just a fully prostrate laid down for 400 days.
Yeah.
How does that embody the Korban?
Because the people are going to be under siege, and they're going to be immobile. They're not going to be able to leave and do and move around in the normal way. V'el matzur Yushalayim takin panecha, and I want you to face towards the siege of Yushalayim, uzaracha chasufa v'nibesa aleha, and bear your arm, and then you're going to give your prophecy. And the reason he's bearing his arm is because that is the way we normally describe when Hashem is going out to war against his enemies. He's going out with his Zroa Netuyah. Here, the outstretched arm of Yechezkel is sort of to remind us of God, but now God is going to war Kavayachal against his children.
So this diagram of brick is in his house, and it's his inspiration of while he...
Probably more like a cinder block now. I'm just saying.
I don't know how big it is.
That's for him. It's not for anybody else. He's made it for himself.
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Doesn't get posted. It's not like on a mountain.
Posted on the
right,
town square.
Right. He's not told to go out and do this in town. And I would assume that if he's laying on his side, it's in his home. Right? He can't go lay outside. I mean, maybe he could.
Maybe he does.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not clear to me if anybody even knows about what he's doing, or if the purpose is for him to experience it more than it is for other people to be aware of it. We're going to see. He gets tied down.
It doesn't seem like it's like Noah is building the table and everyone's passing by and saying
right.
What are you doing? It doesn't get that feel.
Yeah. Yemei Matzor is Gematria 390. So that's I don't know what the 390 is. Let me just be transparent. And now it gets worse. Vihine Nesati Alecha Avotim. I'm going to place these ropes on you. V'lo te'afach mitzidecha. You're not going to be able to move from how you're stuck on your side, el tzidecha al ad kaloscha yemei mitzurecha, until the days of the siege are over. You're pinned down. You're literally tied down while this thing is all taking place. This always reminds me of like in Gulliver's Travels when he goes to the Lilliputians and they tie him down. That's what's going on over here with Yechezkel. Again, there are logistical questions. Like at some point, he's going to have to get up and go to the bathroom and go eat. And right, like, is he tying himself down? Is it happening miraculously? I don't know, and I can't tell you that I've seen any portion that really explain this in a way that I can understand. Now it gets even weirder. You're going to take a bunch of different grains. Chitin usa'arim upol va'adashim v'dochan v'kusmim. So you're going to take wheat, barley, beans, lentils, millet, and emmer. If anyone goes to your local supermarket and sees Ezekiel bread, this is delicious, right? Amazing. Wait till you find out what Ezekiel bread is all about. So you're taking all these various grains, including grains that people don't normally consume, and put them all in one cleave. Make your Ezekiel bread. For all the days that you're going to be lying on your side, you're going to eat this for 390 days, this wheat, barley, beans, lentil, millet, and emmer bread. The food that you're going to eat has to be measured out. But mishkol esrim shekel hayom. You can only have 20 shekels worth of this bread every day. Mi ace ad ace tochlenu, day by day. Space it out so you only eat that amount. Yehuda Felix, who is like the authority on all things flora and fauna in Tanakh, he does the calculation and basically says that there is not enough caloric intake based on this 20 shekel amount for someone to really subsist on this. This is like less than 1,000 calories a day.
Who said this?
Yehuda Felix.
Okay.
I can show you the article. Umayim b'meshur tishtet. Drink water that's also measured out. Shishis hahin, a sixth of a hin, mi ace ad ace tishteh, day by day. This is all the water that you're going to get. V'ugos sa'arim tochlena v'hi b'galile tseas ha'adam te'ugena le'einehem. Eat it as a barley cake, this bread that you're going to be eating, and you have to cook it over human excrement before the eyes, le'einehem, before other people. So that's your Ezekiel bread, how it's baked.
Very flammable.
Hmm?
Very flammable.
So Bedouins actually, till this very day, use not human excrement, but animal excrement as a fuel source. Yeah. But you can imagine how horrific this sounds to Yechezkel for him to do. I also want to point out this idea is one of the, I don't know if we mentioned it in the Twice Told Tales shir, but this is another example of, we're actually going to have it in Avos at some point. Kachi darka shel Torah pas b'melech tochal umayim b'meshura tishta, right? The Yechezkel drinks mayim b'meshura, and it's the same idea over there in Avos. So he's told to do all of this le'enehem, before the eyes of the people. Vayomer, and now Yechezkel gets to respond to this, and he's, completely in shock. Vayomer Adonai, kacha yochlu b'nei Yisrael. I'm sorry. This is Hashem speaking still. Hashem says, kacha yochlu b'nei Yisrael es lachmam tamei, just like the Jews are eating their bread, which is tamei, bagayim asher adicham sham, the people that I will banish them there. This is how they're going to eat it. So you, Yechezkel, are going to experience the same thing they're going to experience. Vayomer. And now I, Yechezkel, respond to Hashem and say, Aha Adonai Elohim, hine nafshi lo mitum'a unevela utrefa lo achalti. I never ate anything that is tameh, a nevela, a trefa, minurai v'yadata. Lo ba b'fi basar pigel. I never ate anything that was in any way puzzle for a kohen to eat. I would never, remember, Yechezkel's a kohen. I would never eat such a thing. And now you're telling me to eat food that's cooked over human excrement? Like, I can't conceive of such a thing. It's too much for me. But v'yomer elai re'ei nasati l'cha es tzifiyei habakar tachas gelolei ha'adam. Okay, we're going to downgrade you from the most disgusting, which is human excrement. Instead, I will allow you to use cow dung, v'yasisas lachem lehem, and you can make your bread over cow dung instead of human dung. Right? That's the compromise position.
Not quite Avram Avinu like negotiating for the survival of Sodom, but
right.
Small victories, right?
Small victories. Vayomer elai ben adam hineni shover mate lechem. Here's the symbolism. I'm going to destroy the staff of bread b'Yushalayim v'achlu lechem b'mishkal u'b'daga. They're going to eat bread weighed out and in confusion, in anxiety. U'mayim b'meshura u'b'shimamon yishtu, and they're going to drink only a measured amount of water while they're in a state of horror. Laman yechzuru lechem u'mayim v'nashamu ish v'achiv v'namaku b'avonam, so that they're going to be lacking bread and water. They're going to stare at each other, and they're going to be, the way they translate over here is heartsick over their iniquity. That is Yechezkel Perek Dalet. Okay. There's a lot here. I don't know how much we're going to get to. Okay. Just because I think this is interesting, I'm going to read to you from Acts. This is chapter 10. Because I think whenever they can in the New Testament, they try to emulate Tanakh. And there's an interesting story with Peter on the way to Damascus. This is Acts chapter 10, verse 9. About noon the next day, they were on their journey and approaching the city. Peter went up on the roof to pray. He became hungry and wanted something to eat. And while it was being prepared, he fell into a trance. He saw the heavens open and something like a large sheet coming down, being lowered to the ground by its four corners. In it were all kinds of four-footed creatures and reptiles and birds of the air. Right? So not necessarily all of these things are kosher. Then he heard a voice saying, "Get up, Peter, kill and eat." But Peter said, "By no means, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is profane or unclean." The voice said to him a second time, "What God has made clean, you must not call profane." This happened 3 times, and the thing was suddenly taken up to heaven. That's the story of Peter one of the stories of Peter on the road to Damascus, and they have in here on the notes profane. No, sorry, where is it? Yeah. Basically, I think this story is just an attempt to kind of regurgitate what we saw in Yechezkel.
Legitimacy.
Yeah, exactly. The highest form of flattery is imitation. Okay, so what's going on? Like, what is all this about? It seems very extreme. He's not doing necessarily everything that the people who are under siege are doing. I'm sure their clothes are not washed. We don't tell Yechezkel, don't go washing your clothes. What's the symbolism behind these specific acts? So first of all, it's clearly not enough to eat the woe, right? That we talked about when he's eating the scroll, or to remain mute. That's just the beginning stages. Now, I've not seen any commentators that explain it this way, so I'll offer you my interpretation for what it's worth. I think all of the stages in this parak map on to stages of the Chorban specifically. So the first thing that Yechezkel is told to do is be a shut-in, right? To stay within his home. The doors of the Bais HaMikdash, Hashem describes in Malachi, in chapter 1, Pasuk Yud, and really Pasuk Zayin is also relevant, but that Hashem says, I wish that you would just close up the doors. I don't want anybody coming in anymore to the pilgrim festivals and the offerings. Then Yechezkel is told to be mute. I think that corresponds to the end of the singing of the Levium over the Korbanos. And finally, he's told to eat this defiling food, versus the korbanos, which are no longer pure in the Bais HaMikdash. We talked about the removal of the purity of the Bais HaMikdash being part of the symbolism of the Merkava. We're at this point, I think, at a new level. He can't speak, so you have to think about what Yechezkel is doing over here. Remember, he was told in the last parak that he's not allowed to speak. So everything he's doing is almost like pantomime. You can think of it as kind of like a painting. You can see parts of the image that might be bizarre or grotesque or disturbing. They're done intentionally by the artist, not to just give you a visual experience, but a visceral experience. That's what is, I think, part of what we're getting from this parak is the revulsion when you read about what he's being asked to do. Is that's intentional. It's intentional for the reader to feel that, because you're now experiencing what Yechezkel's experiencing, which is a shemetz. It's a little like what the Jews were going through at the time of the Chorban. I think what he wants to do essentially is that he wants the audience to know what that feeling is like. That there's that sickness, and he also wants them to hold out hope that the Beis Hamikdash is going to be spared in some way, the way Sancherib and Chizkiyahu had the Beis Hamikdash, had Yerushalayim spared during the times of Chizkiyahu. Sancherib laid siege and they were miraculously saved. Any of that hope that people are holding out is being pulled away when they see what Yechezkel is going through over here. And that's why he wants the audience to feel squeamish, because it's that kind of sucking away of the hope. And that is what I have for your Yechezkel Parak Daled. Please God, next week